Sony shutting down its reward program. Here are the deadlines for submitting claims. Sony is no longer accepting applicants. Sony has revealed that it will be closing the Sony Rewards program offered through its Sony and PlayStation branded credit cards at the end of 2024. An updated FAQ page, the Sony Rewards website and mobile application will shut down on December 31st, 2024. Users have until then to redeem any points and access their account, as well as submit any bonus points and purchase credit request forms through the app. However, after July 21st, users will no longer be able to mail in physical bonus points or purchase credit request forms. The rewards program isn't to be confused with the PlayStation Stars program, which is PlayStation's loyalty and digital collectibles program. The Sony Rewards program involves using the Sony and PlayStation Visa credit cards to accrue points in order to redeem items such as electronic gift cards and PSN store codes. The PlayStation credit card was first introduced in 2017. Microsoft recently introduced the Xbox credit card last year with MasterCard, which recently became available to everyone outside of Xbox's Insider program. It offers perks such as Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions for spending a certain amount of money within the first 12 months of opening the account. So, let's look at credit. Let's look at the comments. Pillar Rocks goes, I had 540 points, ended up getting a $5 PlayStation Network card. Bought Toy Story 3 for PSP, for PS4, PS5. Lone Wolf 1044 goes, the card is rigged for you to more expensive stuff if you wanted to redeem more. With these types of cards, there is always an angle. Philip goes to Lone Wolf, what? So, that was my first thought when I heard this is shutting down. I was like, didn't Microsoft just add something in like this with their credit card? But now Sony is shutting it down, basically this year.
It's a bad idea on Sony's part because it's competing with Microsoft's credit card system and everything else between there. So, and not to mention the rewards system that Microsoft has in place for at least 3-4 years now. With its customers, if you're a gold member, or as right now, if you're an Xbox Core member, you get like these perks, and when you buy stuff online through the Xbox store and all, and you get free gift cards or free 1 month memberships. So stuff like that. And now with Sony shut their stuff down, it's gonna look like a disincentive. It's look good on Sony's part right then and there.
Yeah. And usually these reward programs, they're really not where you're gonna get a whole ton of games, even digitally, unless you basically just spend every free moment you have trying to earn points. I mean, you could 540 points for about $5 store credit. That's really reasonable, based on other rates that I've seen, like when Xbox had the same thing. But now Xbox having this credit card program, I think Xbox jumped the gun on an idea that now it looks like Sony's getting out of. Sony's, and what's going to happen? Is this card going to be worthless? So like you can't buy groceries with it by the end of the year, or is it just the rewards being shut down?
That's almost just the rewards itself, not the actual card, because that'd be a disservice to the customers,
Right, but I'm just saying, we don't know how much like Sony's rates were. I mean, I remember Microsoft's percentages was like 26%, 30%, and 32% interest on unpaid bills. So it's like it's kind of like, why would you use this unless that was the only card you could get? And even then, maybe you should just stick with your debit card from your bank.
Well, if you don't, have you ever been trying to cut the economy for the last several weeks now, Triple J, and anyone out there listening to our podcast, things are not going so well with the sales of like certain products and services. Things have been going up in the interest over with inflation for the past 2 or 3 years now, since 2020, 2021. So people are desperate to the point that now they're using open credit cards just to buy food at this rate. So they had no choice but to buy that. Sony card at the time, or even the Microsoft card, of the credit card of Microsoft's Xbox. So
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, unfortunately, what happens with those credit cards is like 4 weeks later they got to be paid. They got to be paid off. Otherwise, you're going to fall into an interest trap, and like with especially with the Microsoft card, that's going to be one trap that's hard to get out of if you
you
don't
know,
pay the thing off in full. So, don't get me wrong. I know that's why credit cards exist, so you don't have to pay it off in full, especially if you can't. But at the same time, I'm just saying, these cards from like Microsoft, at least, because we covered the rates, the interest rates that they were offering. Um, it's almost like, I mean, I fell into the trap with normal credit cards. Um, I should have paid it off when I had the chance instead of just paying off half or whatever I had, because I was trying to save money. But this was also on unemployment, so on unemployment I wasn't making. But like I figured, if I gotta buy food, I gotta buy food. um so I know the struggle that people are going through, um but at the same time, it's basically a trap.
oh yeah, if you're not careful, it can be a trap. But if you want to build up your credit over time, and as well as build your credit score over time too, because now my credit score, I will admit this to you guys publicly, it used to be 4,999 earlier last year. Now it's up to 650, 649 here for I guess the last week or two. So I definitely build my credit up over time, build my status with these credit card companies, and show reputation that like I can pay bills on time even with the minimum payment. So that's what people are going to do for the next several months, if not years, to pay up minimum payments. Like I've been doing for years now. So that's what I'll do for that time is the minimum payment. And I paid off finally some credit card bills and accounts. So
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, all I can say is get those rewards in as soon as possible.
oh
um
yes, indeed, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to go back to Microsoft for that credit card. In my opinion, if you have no other option, and because obviously, if you've been a rewards member with Microsoft for the last several months, if not years, if you pay your bills on time, go with this is based on my own situation. If I need to buy a credit card again, I'll go with Microsoft for this time around. I'm no financial expert. I'm no economist. But if I was me, or want to get between Microsoft and Sony, I'll go for a Microsoft, card.
right. Well, like I said, there were this, like Dr. Games 101 said, this is just a rewards program, but sometimes the rewards program is what makes it worth it
Oh
to
yes,
get these
indeed.
cards.
Mm-hmm.